absolutely amazing. I am such a silly girl, but you know what? We're here. We're here, you guys. This is awesome. It's Sunday night, and this is exactly what I need. It'll take a couple of minutes for YouTube to get those notifications out, but Owen and Andrew are usually here right away. Melvin, not too far behind. Kathy. Let's see who shows up. Nancy, are you going to be here tonight? That's really neat. Oh, Owen, Andrew. Awesome. Hi, Andrew. How's your weekend been going? How has it been going at work? And did you actually get to see a therapist or a physiotherapist at the university? Did you get an opportunity to see one? Mary Kay made it in tonight. Oh, awesome. Awesome. We missed you the past couple of weeks. We actually mentioned that, and at the end I would say hi to everybody, and I think I would say, oh, Mary Kay. But glad to see you here tonight. It's amazing. It's amazing to see everybody. Oh, Andrew's here. See, it doesn't take long. And you guys, our Christmas Eve party on the 24th, it'll be at 7:00 Central. So I don't know what time that is for all of you. Let me know if that time is good. But this is the time we have been doing it on Christmas Eve. How long have I been doing the Christmas Eve parties? It's got to have been at least 5 years, don't you think, Andrew? I know Andrew and Owen have both been to all of them, right? It's so much fun. So much fun. Everybody comes in, and it's just a day to kind of hang out, or an evening to hang out. And lots of us, we don't make a big fuss about the holidays and stuff. And even if you're not religious and stuff, you see the movies, they really promote the family, love, and community. And if you're someone who spends a lot of time on your own, it can be sad, right? It can be lonely. And even though, for most part, I would think for most of the people that hang out with me, I bet you almost all of you would much prefer to spend your time on your own anyway, right? I know I like my alone time. I'm crazy about my alone time. But, I learned not to feel guilty about that I don't have a lot of friends right now. It's part of my makeup, and I find that it has benefits for me, right? I find that I get to do the things that I want to do. There's a lot of benefits to it, it'd be nice to have somebody to help me with the bills, but that's why not why you go into relationships, right? That's not why you go into relationships. You go into relationships because you really love someone. You can't live without that person, but it does take you away, right? Because you have to give your time into those relationships. And I guess because, I don't know, maybe it was my traumas when I was a kid or something. I kind of grew up to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit tough that way, and not so into the holidays, I guess. But I don't know how I got sidetracked on that. Oh, the Christmas Eve party, everybody. See, I started trailing off on that one, but yeah, for sure. Christmas Eve. I wonder if I could find the little drummer boy. Mary Kay, what a little bit of serendipity you just said there with about the little drummer boy, because I've been mentioning him quite a few times in the past few weeks in my live shows, on Instagram, in my conversations with people, with the customers, with the people that I work with. I even think I might have written it down in my notes too, That's really funny that you say that. That's the first movie. See, I like these things, these little things, because it means that I should pay attention to something in that. Maybe I should be paying more attention to you, dear. Hey, I so appreciate. I'm so excited to see you here, Mary Kay. It's absolutely awesome. We missed you over the past couple of weeks. We actually mentioned you in the comments and stuff. I've been making sure that I have the comment replay on, right? So everybody, there are days when you can't make it to my lives, right? I have no idea. There are a few people here who have never missed a live in years. They are just as dedicated and just as diehard and just as loyal to my channel as I would like to think I am, right? And I so appreciate it so much, right? But there are going to come times, like even this when Andrew got sick with the staph, right, and almost died. He still, I don't know how you did that, Andrew. I have no idea. When you were watching my live, dear, you wouldn't mind telling us what was the moment? What state were you in at the time of that live show? Because you shouldn't have been with us. Like you were so sick, and I think of it often, Andrew, that you even on that one day when you could have passed away, that you actually, right, were with us that day. Oh my goodness. Mary Kay, oh, that's so sweet that you actually take that time, to do it. My heart just, right. And this and see, and this is what happens when I go back to saying about, for those of us who are normally good with being on their own. They've been on their own so long they don't even know how to interact with people anymore. Well, I think it's like, for me anyway, it would be like getting on a bike, right? You would just start up again, only because of all the jobs that I've had, and even the jobs that I have right now, which a lot of my social and a lot of my personality and a lot of my energy goes into, right? So I've always been good with people like that, right? But I do, when my work is done and I come home, I'm done. It's Cindy time. It's my time. It's right. And I shut everything off. I don't even look at, oh my goodness, what am I saying? I do live shows on Instagram. I do I do my live show here on Sunday nights, and I do my lessons. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah. See? And this is what I said, right? Where you have to make that effort. I tried, like, my own laws. I only have 3 laws for myself: no lying, no cheating, no stealing, and I'm good, right? And I try to live my life that way. But they say that people who even say they don't lie, they lie consistently at least 90 times a day. I actually watched that in numerous documentaries, right? And in my posts and in my lessons, they talk about it. I just lost track of where I was talking. I'm so tired, you guys. I picked up some extra hours at work, and then I picked up an extra shift today. I normally don't work on Sundays. Sundays is usually a day off, so I usually do my live show on Instagram in the morning, and then I do my live show at night, right? And I'm so tired. That's all I could say. I keep losing track right at this moment. Each topic that I'm picking up, and you know what it is I need to get into the comments. I need to get back into the comments and see who's here. I like a Christmas Carol too, but I think my favorite my favorite version of the Christmas Carol was the one with the Fonzie. What was his name? What was his name, Andrew? The I can't remember his name, but he was a great actor. He was on Happy Days, right? Remember he was on Happy Days? He was Fonzie. But yeah, that's the version of A Christmas Carol that I really like. I remember I watched that and I just bawled my eyes out. Yeah, I love that movie too. The black and white one is good too. But the early one, right? The one where he has the scary face. When it was in black and white, right? His face looks so pale and scary. Yeah. Hi, William. Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, and that's getting back to that serendipity, Mary Kay, because yeah, drummer boy, and here I go off about the drummer boy too, because I don't know what it is. There's a message in there for me somehow. I think I need to watch the movie is what I gotta do. I'm actually gonna put it in my notes here and make sure as part of my day off tomorrow, that I find it online and I watch it because I know there's a message for me and I know I'll get there. I always get to where I need to be. So yeah, Little Drummer Boy. Is there a version of that, Mary Kay, that you like it a way that I might find the one that you like so much and watch that one? Just like how Andrew, he likes the one with George C. Scott, and I like the one with Fonzie in it. I better go down because I know you guys have spat out that name already. Let's go down here and see. Nobody spat out that? Nobody knew that answer? Fonzie's real name. He was an actor. He was on Happy Days. Yeah, it's not even on the tip of my tongue. It's not even on the tip of my tongue. Fresh baked apples. Mary Kay, you know what? My mother used to make fresh baked apples all the time. We weren't, well, there were times when we were rich. There were times when we were really poor, right? But, Mom would send us out with the ice cream buckets and we would go get apples. We lived in Vancouver, British Columbia. And, there's apples on the trees, pears on the trees, apples, cherries, blackberries, huckleberries. Oh, I love the berries and the fruit. Plums. Plums were my absolute favorite. The plum trees. So much fruit in British Columbia. It's just absolutely just amazing. Here in Manitoba, here I go off. We have plums. And apples, apple trees, crab apples maybe, but our weather is so extreme here. We have the hot, we have the cold. We could do wild raspberries and wild blueberries, but we can't do blackberries or huckleberries. Strawberries we can do because that's seasonal, right? But the roots on these things die, right? That's a lot of, we have a lot of hardy trees, right? Over the millennia, the trees have evolved, right? They grow crooked, they adapt, they conquer. Only the best survive. So now these are hardy breeds, right? But yeah, the beetles are getting to the elms here. So even right in front of me, this tree here, and I think this tree here have been marked, or that tree has been marked with the orange dot. So then the city workers will come in with the big trucks and the saws and they'll take the tree down. They're not planting elms anymore. So the elms that we have. So if we take care of their elms, and once it thins out like a lot where there's only maybe one elm or two elms per street, I think we might be able to get it under control and save the elms at that point because the beetles have to travel, right? In order to hit an elm tree. So they would much rather, I think, do the gardens and stuff like that. And, they kill the trees. They just make it so the trees can absorb water. Like it could be raining and it wouldn't even take any water, and the trees just die. It's just really, really sad. And see, everybody loves, right? Everybody has a passion and a cause and something that there's is to their heart, right? And I just love history. I love the historical buildings, and I truly love Mother Nature, right? If I were a philanthropist, I would have to make sure that there was some good giving towards those two causes, And then what that does for me, I feel, is it makes it so I don't have to look at other things, right? Like if there's like overabundance and you can do that, at that point there would be people to take care of that for you. You just give them money, you just say, make sure it gets spread out pretty good, right? But then you would have those special ones to your heart, and mine is the Mother Nature, and I do love historical buildings. So I will be saving really historical, beautiful buildings. Yeah. Manitoba is very lucky that we have an organization called his um, Heritage Winnipeg, and they do fundraisers. They do huge events. They actually mitigate in between making it so it's a community and it's very diverse with artists and salons and restaurants and shops and stores and residential, right? So it's actually a community in itself, but these old buildings are being taken care of, and by being taken care of by code. So if they get repairs, and they have to get repairs, we live in, again, we have extremes here. We have extreme hot and extreme cold, right? So we our buildings take a beating, but they were smart. They used a lot of granite. Our skyscrapers, all our old ones, are mostly like Chicago. So if you know the old buildings in Chicago, that those architects were the ones that made our buildings. He actually made our buildings before they even made those buildings in Chicago. So maybe Chicago followed us, even though the architects were from Chicago. They did the work here in Winnipeg, because Winnipeg was actually at one time the third largest city in the country, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going back, I'm going to the comments. So instead of passing out from the ordeal, Andrew, right? And just, right? Because that must have been traumatizing, right? Because how close you had come, you're actually going into surgery. It must have been a very fast process. And you must have amazing, amazing intuition, Andrew, that you made sure, right? Because I don't know, that still costs you money, doesn't it? Or does your insurance now cover the cost of going to hospitals? Because I know you're in the States, and I know it's a little bit different in the States. Here in Manitoba, we don't pay anything. If we have to go see a doctor, we go see a doctor. These funds are there for that. I think though, our concern is the elderly tend to use the doctors as things to keep them busy, little outings and stuff. So here, when it's free like that, right? But these are things that we have to gain, adapt, and can't conquer, right? Because we could talk about it a little bit, so then they can realize we know what's going on, right? Because we always want to make sure if somebody needs to go to the doctor, they can go to the doctor, but it's very expensive, right? And you take up the time when somebody else actually needs to see the doctor, and nobody, unless you got health issues, you shouldn't have to go see. I don't know, Mary Kay, what do you think? That should it be once or twice a year that the elderly to go for checkups, just to make sure that they're okay? Yeah, but they use them as outings sometimes. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with them, but they go to the doctor so much that they actually, I guess, emotionally start thinking about illnesses and stuff. And then again, because it's free here, right? It does. It turns out it makes them feel special. It makes them feel, because again, we're going back to where this started in the conversation tonight when I was talking about how some of us do like to spend time alone, right? That even if we're social, or even if we're social at our jobs, like I quite am, right? That when it's my time off, I like my time off. I like to be doing the things that I like to enjoy doing. But again, there's so much stuff going on in my life all the time that I really don't have that opportunity. So I take it when I can, right? And I just love being able to sit here after work tonight. And I came, and I had to go to the grocery store tonight. And then I came home and I walked in the door, and I quickly had a piece of chicken, and then I put on the coffee kettle, and I changed my clothes and I'm actually wearing I'm wearing my pajama pants. I'm wearing a sweater here because it was cold in here, because when I left today, I left the windows open. Just a little bit, because I like the fresh air at night, and I got a really nice quilt. I like fresh air. I like Mother Nature, right? So the windows were open, right? And then by 2:00 in the afternoon, we were in full blown snowstorm here. I would show you, but it's too dark outside. You wouldn't see anything. But yeah, we have a snowstorm, and I was fighting the wind, right? It's interesting, especially it's only the beginning of December now, and only a couple of weeks ago, it was beautiful out, right? It was beautiful out. People were walking in shorts and stuff. It was amazing. But like I said, the seasons change so fast, right? But I walked in the door. Let's have a sip of coffee. I always make myself a cup of coffee when I do my live shows. See, I made a big cup of coffee tonight, right? Because I haven't even I did. I had a cup of coffee this morning, or actually went and got a Tim Hortons today. I treated myself to a Tim Hortons, and this is my big cup. I was looking forward to sitting here and just and I went, I'm doing my live in 20 minutes. And I went, I'm doing my live in 20 minutes. I went, and I sat in my chair, right? And I was supposed to get the camera set up and the date and everything. And I sitting there and all relaxed there. And then I just okay, I'm ready to go. And I set it up. And then I had my big reader board across the back of me, right? And I'm working on a project. I'm actually working on something with Catherine. Remember what we were talking about last week? She sent me the pictures, and I'm going to write posts. I'll actually send you the picture, and I'll copy and paste it so that you can watch it, because it's for my Instagram, right? So we're going to do a series with these pictures. And then I'm going to do, that's on my project for this week. I have my Christmas cards to finish, and again, DM me on my Instagram and give me your address so that I can get you a mail card, a Christmas card sent out to you. I'll be buying my stamps on payday, and once they're mailed, I won't be doing another trip, right? And I do have a few email addresses. I do have a few addresses, but again, if you haven't given to me, or if you've moved, or if you just want to confirm, just email me. If you have my email, DM me on Instagram. I wouldn't put it in the chat here because of the chat replay. I know Andrew or Owen or one of my moderators here would actually, grab it and hide it so that I could just be the only one to see it. And I quickly jot it down, but they suggest that you don't do that here on YouTube. You want to keep, your emails safe. You don't want your emails out there where you can get spammed and people can take advantage of you and stuff. Yeah, I had one of my customers almost lost all his collectible his collectible Lego, because somebody went and emailed him, said, oh, you got an amazing set of Lego. Do you want to trade with me? And he says, well, I don't know. Show me what you got, what you want to trade for. And then the guy showed him all these fancy model kits, all brand new in boxes. And he just bit. He goes, oh, yeah, we could trade on that. And he says, okay, well, just mail it off to me. And when I get it, I'll send these off to you. And then they just said, oh, that's kind of strange. No, you don't do that. Like, no, we do this at the same time, or we have to get confirmation and tracking numbers. You can do it like this. And it turned out he was just getting spammed. The guy was just trying to get all his collectible Legos. It was just funny, right? Well, not funny. That would have been sad, but yeah, he caught on. He's a smart cookie, and he caught on to what was going on and stuff, right? But yeah, he had all his private information and stuff. But yeah, baked apples. My mother used to send us out with the ice cream pails. We'd come home and she'd make apple pies, apple strudel. What's that pastry that goes round and round and round? You usually have it in the morning, and it's like a circle. It's almost like a croissant, but it looks like a jelly roll. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but it was so good. It had lots of eggs and butter in it. I remember that. They were so delicious. But usually we had that at breakfast. Yeah, amazing. Like, I'm working on my mindset, right? I've got big plans for myself. And even if I don't have big plans for myself, I feel compelled. I feel this is part of my life, that I really actually enjoy being online. I enjoy the kind of marketing. I like the communication. I like having people to talk to, right? So maybe, again, going back to what we were talking about lots of us like being alone. We're truly not really alone, are we? Like, look at us right here. We meet every day on Instagram, and we meet every Sunday here. And then once Cindy gets that car, right, then there'll be our adventures too, and my trips. And I was reading about Arkansas. Like, I don't know if it's a good place for Arkansas to go, because they say they're not very nice to people from that aren't from Arkansas. I don't know if that's true, but I read that on Wikipedia because I wanted to see all the different places where I could go sightseeing, all the important events, maybe find out about museums. And I thought, oh, Wikipedia would be interesting, right? And then they said, is Arkansas a friendly state? And they said, oh, they're the most amazing state ever. They're so amazing with family. They're tight. They're loyal. They're hardworking, right? But he says, as long as you're local. And I went, oh my goodness. And I already made my goal. I already set my goal that next September I want to go to Arkansas. I want to go digging for real big crystals of all different types. And I want to see if I can make it a kind of a tour and maybe go a little bit more east and go through New York. I've never been, and it would be so amazing for me to be able to go on a road trip in the States. I would really, really like it, right? I think it would be a trip for me to remember, and I bet you I could get so much content, and right, I think it would be really amazing. I think it would be really amazing content for my channel. So that's kind of my hopes, but I know the vehicle that I can afford it where I'm at right now, and I've really got to apply myself. I'm hoping this month to put $200 away, right? So it makes it so that I have my rent paid, I have all my house bills paid, plus I'm going to put $200 away every month, and I'm going to have my grocery money, and I'm going to have my bus pass money, right? And just buckle down and then use a whole paycheck, right? Because there'll be a month somewhere along the line here where there'll be an extra paycheck, and I will put that whole paycheck in the pile. Plus, I'll put my income tax return into that pile, right? I'm going to do it, you guys. You watch. I have to. I'm setting the goal, right? And I've set that goal already. It's just taking its time, but I'm a patient, persistent person, and yeah, we'll make it happen. I'm looking forward to getting on the road for sure. Aw. Yeah, William just said that he sent me a Christmas card. That's nice of you, William. Are you still here, William, or because you sent me a DM there? So I don't know if you're staying in my lives or you're playing on your phone and watching on your computer at the same time, joining in on the computer. Yeah, arthritis. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful. Even the ladies I work with and stuff, how they have aches and pains. But there are ladies at my work that are just diehards. They work harder than any of us, the energy that they put into their jobs. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of it is genes, right? A lot of it is good genes, but skipping generations, I would assume, because both of my parents were not well. My father died of congenital heart disease when he was 47 years old. You know, he always knew he was going to die. Like, even when I was a tiny little kid, he would give us those death talks out in the backyard, right? And we'd have those discussions. He'd get us into little huddles. I guess he didn't want us to linger in there. He wanted us to move on and stuff, but we'd have these talks every year, right? And but he lived till I was 23 years old. And my dad had an amazing fun life, and he stuffed it with everything that he possibly think that he could have wanted to do. I'm sure he did, and he loved his family lots. I know that. I know that too. Yeah, I know that too. How do I buy a month's bus pass? I go to the drugstore. They're $53. They're $53 for a bus pass. And then you ride the bus for the month. You just show the bus pass to the bus driver when you get on the bus. And I have a little sleeve. I can show you my bus pass. I got my purse right here. Oh, aches and pains. I'm getting old. Oh, here it is. This is what my bus pass looks like. And you just show the bus driver the bus pass, and then you get on the bus. So I use it for work, and if I go visit my sister, if I want to go to a different mall, I don't really go to any malls, but if I wanted to, right? Where I go up to the forest, I have to take different buses and stuff. I have to walk quite a different distance too. In the wintertime, they don't have good bus service up to the forest that I like to go to, because people don't usually use the park as much as they do in the summertime, right? Here in Manitoba, we love our winter, but we still, everybody does Mother Nature here in Manitoba. Yeah, there not many people are just indoor dwellers. We love the outdoors, right? I love winter. I love winter, and I'm looking forward to the cold. I'm even enjoying watching this storm. I don't think you guys would be able to see it if I turn the camera around. We can try. No, you're not going to be able to see it. It's so dark outside right now. I only see it because I'm looking at a lamppost, and I can see the snow blowing in the lamppost. Yeah, but that was my bus pass, Mary Kay. Will that get better with your physiotherapy? And I was asking if you were able to get that physiotherapy, and I don't know if I missed the answer, if you said what the answer was, but you were talking last week, Andrew, about maybe getting some physio at the university that you work at, right? So I was wondering if that came through. I think the young adults, there's an adult one, but I'm considered a senior. I'm in my 60s, right? So I'm considered a senior. So seniors get a little bit of a discount. They also have a card for low incomes. They have low income transit cards. So you can apply for one of those. And you can actually, Manitoba is such a great place to live. You can actually apply if you're low income, and they give you recreation cards where you can go to swimming pools and you can go to ice rinks. You can do different sports and community center things. Fees are waived. It's an amazing place. Manitoba is all about community, and I think that's why. And if you went into the Canadian website if you punched in coronavirus. Oh, maybe I can just copy the link. Give me 1 second here. I'll just copy the link, and then you guys can hit the link and you can go see for yourself. It says I can't leave this. Oh, I can do it this way. This is what I do. Province of Manitoba. Okay, I'm going to copy the link. What? Control C. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'll come over here, and then I'll go Control B. And enter. Yeah, so you can go in there and look at the map. Look at the map of Canada when you go in, and look at Manitoba. And actually, it's a good idea. If you just want to see where Manitoba, Canada is, hit that link, and that will take us to your map, and you'll see exactly where I am in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But it will also show on the map, right? The number of people who have gotten the coronavirus, the amount of people in each of those provinces. Now, we haven't even a fraction of what happened. Like, Canada is one of those countries, they learn from other people's mistakes, right? And what happened in the States and stuff, and the protests, and how that the virus got spread like that, and how it was so devastating, right? But, Canada learned from that mistake, and we took advantage of that information, and we locked down pretty good. So we were able to keep those numbers down. But here in Manitoba, we're moving up a little bit more too. We're a little bit afraid with the new variants is going down, and I know they're much easier to catch, right? I've been trying to do that too. Andrew, about the sugars, it's only been around. Excuse me. Sugar has only been something that we have naturally consumed for since the 1400s, right? When the traders brought them into Europe. And it wasn't even popular until like the 15th, 16th century. And then, people started using pure sugar, and they would mold it into things like T-bone steaks and fruit and display like cake pieces, and they would be pure sugar, and they would just color the sugar, and they make it like artwork. And they would take these, and it was a status thing, it was a sign that you had lots of money. And then over time they were able to bring so much in, and of course, like computers, as becomes the brand sells more, the price is able to come down, right? And that's what happened with sugar, and then it was able to go into the middle class homes, and then that's where the saying, one lump or two right? You ever hear that when you had tea? Would you like one lump or two? And that came from that era because, money was important. And even though sugar was starting to be consumed by the middle class, it was still pricey. It was still a treat, right? To have the sugar. So it was a way of letting your guests know, don't put 6 lumps of sugar in your coffee, right? This isn't a way to stock up in order to feed your family when you get home. I'm offering you a cup of tea. Would you like one lump or two? And that's where that came from. And they actually did some tests on some bodies, right? They pulled up the bodies of some people from like the 14th century, and then they pulled up some bodies from the people in the 16th century, and they examined their teeth and the consequences of sugar, right? And it was devastating. Could you imagine going to a dinner party and being served a T-bone steak made of sugar, right? But that's what's going. And this is, I think, one of the biggest downfalls of mankind is sugar. But at the same time, I'm going to have to say, because this is a problem for me, I like my carbs, I like my sugars. I fight with my weight all the time to try and maintain it, right? And the thing is, I think it was good because I relied on the food. I relied on the treats. I relied on all those goodies to calm my system down, right? When I was sad or unhappy or somebody treated me badly in my perceptions, whatever it was, the stresses in my life. And, for a lot of you, you do know my dynamic family situation, right? So I do suffer from complex trauma. And even though I have triggers, I now recognize my triggers, right? Like when my boss yells at me or something and I go, oh, like this, right? My eyes get all buggy and watery and stuff, right? She just looks at me and she goes, stop it, right? But that's because I was able to have a conversation to her about my triggers and stuff, but I didn't even know, right? Like I would fly off about things and stuff whenever people would treat me badly and stuff. And now I actually stop and take a moment and put myself in their shoes. And half the time I realize they're not even cranking at me. They're maybe just having a bad day or something. Now, I don't know how I got onto that conversation. Oh, sugars. Yeah. But yeah, the sugars have been detrimental in my family. But at the same time, I'm going to have to say it calmed my system down. And everybody has ways that they calm their systems down, right? And anything that is habitual, anything that maybe surfaces guilt or shame, right, would be considered something that you rely on, right? Something that you rely on, something that calms your system down and makes it so life is bearable, or you can cope with this. Or if you have anxiety, for sure you're going to have some coping mechanisms, some things that you do consistently. And they could be really strange things, right? I was addicted to Halls for about, oh my goodness, 3 or 4 years at least. I crunched them like candy. I would pop 3 packages. If you don't know what Halls are, they're cough drops. And I was so addicted to that eucalyptus, and that vapor that you get from those. And for 3 years, oh my goodness, the amount of money that I spent with dentists, the heartburn that I had because it was so acidic and I was crunching them like candy, and I was doing like 3 packages a day. Then I just OD on B12s for a couple of months, and then that one went away. But then I would just pick up something else. But food has always been consistent for me. Carbs and sugars have been consistently a way to calm my system down. It truly has. And I don't say that like, oh, right, that's so wonderful. but I'm grateful. I have to say that I'm grateful because food, even though it would cause me to be obese, right, may have caused me at some point to be very unhealthy or diabetic or have a heart attack or stresses. I mean, it was one of the prerequisites why I was able to have some surgery to help me lose the weight, right? I had the stomach stapling, right? And it was because of my family's history, right? That my dad's congenital heart disease and the diabetes on my mother's side. So I was a good candidate for that operation, and it fairly worked. I never got much over 200, right? After that, right? No, there was a time I got up to 240, and then I lost a big chunk. I lost 60 pounds, and then I kind of float where I am right now. But I like food. It calms my system. And I have to say, you guys, it could have been something like heroin, right? Or it could have been something like alcohol. It could have been something like being obsessive compulsive about cleaning. I could have been a hoarder. Not like these things are any worse, right? But they wouldn't have been things that I would have been able to cope with. And even here, I could say that it might be having the job that I have and coming from my dynamic family and my traumas and my love for things that I might not otherwise had, maybe things I felt I was denied, that I become a bit of a collector. I like finding things. I like finding history and saving it, right? I love coming across crystals. I love coming across my Buddhas, and I love my artwork and my carvings. And when I come across these things that catch my heart and catch my fancy and I know I'll keep forever, I worry that maybe I could be a hoarder. So maybe that makes me munch out on sugars and carbs a little bit more so that doesn't happen, because I am giving stuff away. When I take stuff from work, I always try and make sure that I take a bag to work. Like in this weekend, I've already got some stuff ready to go into the bag to take to work for donations, right? Is that, see, I never did that, but I did wipe the Vicks in my nose in order to get off the candies, and I had to do that in order to ease myself off the candies, and that was pretty bad too, right? You know, especially when I was married and I had to kiss my husband and all I did was smell like Vicks, right? But it was that stress in my marriage. You know, I was too busy trying to please my husband, right? Trying to be a good wife and trying to cope the best I could and calming my system down when he'd go away and I'd be alone, and right. And yeah, it's funny what we do for coping, right? And we don't beat ourselves up. We try and work on it the best we can, but we have to realize that it might not be in this lifetime. We are optimistic that it will, but it might not, right? So we have to make sure that it doesn't affect our lives. It doesn't affect our health. It doesn't affect other people. It doesn't affect our way of living in any way, right? That it doesn't affect our feeling of guilt and shame. So I say I'm grateful. I'm grateful that every once in a while I go off crazy like and have munchy systems, right? But I would not be a very good alcoholic. I would not like being an alcoholic, and I couldn't even imagine sticking a needle in my arm. But those are coping mechanisms too, right? And I want to keep my hands nice and soft, right? So I don't want to be somebody that's addicted to always having a clean house, right? That takes time. That takes away time that you could be doing things for yourself, that you could be doing something enjoyable for yourself. We should always try to be the best people that we can. We always should, right? But I think it's not good. It's not healthy to beat ourselves up. It's not good to have guilt and shame, and a lot of that will be projected on the people that do have those coping mechanisms, because they're not called coping mechanism for nothing, because they're coping mechanisms. And when people call you, right, on these things, that it makes you feel bad, right? I did the gastric bypass in 87. I think it was in 87 or 89. I can't remember. I think it was 87 that I did it. Yeah. Oh, it's hard to 87 or 89 I had the gastric bypass. It was a decision that changed my life. I was in love with somebody. I was madly in love with somebody, and we were best friends. We were very best friends, and we shared everything. And he was so, like, literally gorgeous, handsome. All the girls were chasing him. I took up a lot of his time. I took up most of his time because he would prefer to hang out with me than he would with these women, right? But he was very popular. The girls liked him, and in between girlfriends and stuff. And even when he had girlfriends, I'd always try to make them my friends too, because it was important. We were best friends. And because I wasn't considered a threat to them, because I was 300 pounds at that time. I was 300 pounds at that time. And so that was another one of the 311 pounds was my heaviest weight. And then they made me lose a little bit of weight. And then I was able to have the operation again. That was free, Mary Kay. That operation was free. So were all the boob jobs. I had 3 boob jobs. I had a double tummy tuck too. I had a double tummy tuck. I had plastic surgery, and the government considered it an investment in my well-being. Very grateful to be in Manitoba, and where in a province where your emotional well-being is just as important as your physical well-being. Right. Oh, there is so much to rave about this province. And I don't just toot the horn because I'm a Manitoban, because I'm literally from Vancouver, British Columbia. I now call Manitoba home. But it's just the most amazing place. You know, if anybody were to think about moving to Canada, being immigrating, I would say come to Manitoba. Come to Manitoba. We would be happy to have. Oh, yeah, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, what an amazing place I live in. And we have a great mayor too. He's online every single day. He shows up, and he just doesn't show up spewing politics and stuff. It's very rarely. Like just yesterday, he made a sports team bid with another city. I think the Rough Riders or something, that they're going to wear each other's jerseys, whoever the loser is in the Grey Cup, which is this Sunday is Grey Cup. Does anybody watch Canada football on my channel? Yeah, but tomorrow is the Grey Cup here in Canada, and they've got a barter going on. So the loser will wear the other provinces are Rough Riders jersey if they lose. And then otherwise, the mayor will wear the Winnipeg Blue Bombers jersey if they win, right? So it's fun. But see, this is how we war. This is how we go to battle, right? Good old fashioned sportsmanship, right? Do challenges and sports competitions, right? Through competition, this is how we're going to solve wars. This is how we're going to become a peaceful planet, for sure. It will be looked down. I don't know. In the 1700s, they said people were just a bunch of fuddy-duddies, right? That people were just a bunch of fuddy-duddies and all tight and right and all like this. But the thing is, etiquette is amazing. Etiquette for me is like mindfulness, right? Just being mindful of your manners and how you treat people, right? That, in those days, you wouldn't have the crazy people coming up to you and yelling and spewing their crazy stuff at you. Right? You weren't even welcomed. You wouldn't even know those people, right? And nowadays, people have no consideration. When I was a little kid, we walked down the sidewalk, and every person you passed, you'd always say, good morning, good afternoon, right? Always, always. It was just good manners. You didn't walk down the sidewalk with your head on the ground. Here in Manitoba, they do it a little bit. That's one thing I'd have to say about Vancouver. But the thing is, the weather is so pretty in Vancouver. Like, and a lot of times, in the winter, your face is all covered up. They don't see your face. They're probably not going to hear you through the hurricane winds. Right? But I would say that's what BC had on the people. They were very polite. They know their etiquette, right? Here, they're just down. Oh, they're right. There's the men here don't put gook in their hair. Maybe some, right? Like I'm talking mousse and stuff and perfume. Like the guys in BC, they're just as pretty as the women are, right? Handsome, but they use like colognes and hair gook and right. They get their nails done. Wear fancy here in Manitoba. Guys are happy with a pair of jeans and a Mac shirt, and right? Lucky if they wash their hair once a week. But they're so amazingly nice. They're so kind-hearted. They don't judge. And I guess this is why it was so easy to make friends here in Manitoba. And it was obvious, right? Because I always had so many friends. People were always so kind to me. Sorry about my notifications there. People were always so kind for me, and I better turn my channel down too, just so that there's no interference and my notifications don't pop up there. Because if they go off on my phone, they go off on my channel too. But I always wait until they go off, because they usually go off on the half hour, my notifications. I don't turn them off, but I just wait for them to do their announcements, and then I come live, right? Let me have a sip of my coffee. Oh, I got something here that I bought you guys I want to show you. Or maybe let's look at the comments while I'm having my coffee. Dave's here. Is Melvin here? Angry Birds, I know you've been watching in the background, dear. I know you've been in the background, but pop in, say hi. Let us know that you're here. Nancy, I saw you pop in. It's so amazing. Let's see what Nancy's been up to. She's a yapper for sure when she pops in. Jim. Oh, hey, Jim. Hi, Jim. I'm so grateful to have Mary Kay hang out with us. I don't know why she loves us so much, but she's absolutely amazing, and we are grateful to have her here when she's able to pop in. Welcome, Jim. Welcome. Oh, Nancy, all my laundry got stolen the week before last. The homeless are sleeping in the stairwells. This past weekend, they set up shop down in the laundry room, and they've been like taking $5 bills from the homeless and making a living in our laundry room because we have free laundry. Set up house there, have coffee and magazines, and all day it's just meeting people at the back door, getting their laundry, washing it. Right. And I'm not beholden to homeless, but right, we have problems in this building, and having the homeless in there, that is not a secure way for the tenants here to feel, because they actually walk into the tenants building, and some of the big people in my building are very, very elderly. They're very elderly, and sometimes they'll forget to lock the door when they come into their home. And it takes a few minutes for them to even get out of their chairs, right? If somebody were to come to the door. So these people could just walk into the apartments, come in, scoop up whatever they want, and then leave. It's just so, right? So we have to make sure at the very least that we keep the doors locked, that we're tight on security, right? It's scary to walk into the hallway and have to step over people, right? When you're walking down the stairwells. Like sometimes the elevators get stuck on floors, right? Again, elderly and stuff, and people moving in and out. Sometimes it's just faster to take the stairwells, and right? You're taking a chance that you're not going to stumble over someone, right? But there used to be a game I used to do when I was in school. Oh my goodness. We have these granite, or not granite, marble stairs in our schools, in the elementary schools. And they would probably be, I would say 12, maybe steps, 12 steps in between. And then you get that one and then you turn and then you go 12 more steps. I would jump from one step all down to the 12th step. And I was so good at it. I never wiped out. I never missed. It was like almost like flying. It was almost like magic. And I don't know how I was able to do that. But I also skipped on sidewalks too, like the lines on the sidewalks. I was able in one step to go from one line to the next line. And I would be able to do that all the time. It was so much fun. I don't know who else did silly things like that. I did all kinds of silly things when I was a kid. I used to pick up the worms and the slugs that would get, because in Vancouver, it'd be rainy and all the slugs and the worms would come out of the ground, go onto the sidewalk so they wouldn't drown. Then it would stop raining and the sun would come up, and then they wouldn't be able to get back into the grass and the sun would dry them out and they would die. So I would always be late getting to school because I would be saving slugs and worms. And if you've ever seen a slug, right? Oh, I would say half the size of this bottle are slugs, but that length for sure. Slugs, huge slugs, and they would be all different colors, like caterpillars or butterflies. They would be all different colors, and some of them would be slimy. Oh, they'd all be slimy. Oh, and some of them would have spots and stuff, but they were so gentle. They never caused any trouble except leaving that slime wherever they went. But yeah, I would drop them into the grass and save them, right? But these are the adventures. This is the Pippi Longstockings in me, right? Yeah, for sure. But let me get back to these comments here. "45 minutes? Did you dress warm enough, Nancy, when you went downstairs?" No, that's the thing. Like when I had the surgery, like I was really, really heavy. I was 311 pounds, Mary Kay, and I had the gastric bypass, which is the stomach stapling. And it was the most horrific pain I have ever experienced in my entire life. I came off the morphine like within 24 hours. I told them to take it out of me. I came on. I told them to take the catheter out too, and they took that out too because I wanted it out, so they took it out. And I just suffered, and I just suffered after that for 24 hours for 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks. It was the most excruciating, maddening pain. I don't like medication. I think pain sometimes builds resiliency sometimes, right? I didn't do it for pleasure, right? But I didn't want to medicate, right? I don't so much as even take aspirin unless I really have a bad time. And I always try and have a little bottle of Tylenol around, but I haven't had one for a long time because I haven't been sick for a long time. Oh, that's not true. Remember a couple of months back I hurt my back. But that went away almost immediately. I hurt my back and I suffered for a few days and then just slowly got better. And I think it only took a week and it was better. And usually I usually throw my back out about once a year, once every year and a half. And it usually goes for about 2 weeks. But I do normal work. I go about my life. There's no point in grumbling and complaining, right? I'm not a hypochondriac in the very least, right? But yeah, question being, the stomach right now, no. What it did for me is it stopped my ability to get diabetes because it blocks the duodenum. The duodenum can't do its job, which is processing sugar. So sugar is just released. I would get the odd yeast infection or something because of it, because so much sugar was coming out of my system, right? But stomach issues, no, no, it was very tight. Over the years, it stretched out again. The surgeon did tell me that it was going to make it maybe that I would have to have my gallbladder removed or something, but I'd never had any problems with my gallbladder. I've never had any problems with my health in any way. I think now, if I had had the mindset when I went in to have that operation that I have now, I would probably not have the operation. I think I probably would have been able to do it on my own. But emotionally, see, I didn't understand. I was so deep into my trauma, into my victimhood, into self-loathing, that that it didn't even cross my mind that it was a possibility of something positive, right? That a positive mindset would help with controlling my weight a little bit better. But yeah, it never. But the surgeon did say that it was going to take 15 years off of my life if I had this surgery. But I don't know how that could be possible, because I feel very good. I do get Charlie horses, but I've gotten Charlie horses my whole life, right? Yeah, I think I started getting Charlie horses when I was about 14 or 15 years old. I started getting Charlie horses, but I think that's my lack of bringing in hydration into my body, right? I don't drink enough water. I drink tons of coffee. I drink diet pop. I drink fruit juice, really, really, really watered down. It's just barely colored, right? But I do drink the fruit juice too. And that's how I get it into my system, is doing it that way, right? Just by getting a little bit of flavor into the water, and then I'm able to drink it. I usually buy like the lemonade or something like that, right? But yeah, this operation, I would have to say, was the best thing. This changed my life, right? This changed my life. And it, again, I have to say, um I didn't end up with the guy that I was in love with. I didn't. My friends would say things to me like, and I had lost all that weight. I was fairly attractive. I don't think I have any of those pictures anymore. I think I put them all away. But you know, I was working in the club at the time when I met my husband at the time. But I was still in love with this other man. But my friends convinced me, like, Cindy, he didn't want you when you were 300 pounds. Why would you go for him now? Why would you put yourself in that position? And I gave it some thought, and I listened to it, and yeah, nothing came of it. I met my husband after dating a few men, and then I ended up meeting my husband, who was absolutely perfect for me, right? If I was only going to be married for those 8 years, be with somebody for those 8 years, I couldn't have asked for a better husband. He was absolutely amazing right up to the day that day was over, and I have no regrets, because I got my dreams, right? Like that childhood dream of having that Cinderella wedding. I had a Vera Wang wedding dress. I had a Vera Wang wedding dress that would make Cinderella's dress look like the first dress she was wearing when she was scrubbing the floors. It was absolutely just stunning. It was called Moonlight in Paris, I think it was called, right? Or no, it was part of the Moonlight series. But yeah, Vera Wang dress, and I had that Cinderella wedding, and I had that handsome prince, right? That I actually drew in my teenage years. I drew the face. I just played a game with myself, and I drew the face of the man I was going to marry, and I put it in the back of one of those old photo albums with the plastic, right? And I put it over that. And when I met my husband, that was the picture. That was the picture picture of the man that I was going to marry, right? I didn't put the two and two together at the time. It was afterwards. But what serendipities and that I actually drew the picture of the man I actually was going to end up with, and it was an amazing marriage. I wouldn't regret that. But uh, afterwards, I lost all that weight. Mary Kay is I had so much loose skin. I had I had to have a tummy tuck, and they took 13 pounds off my stomach, and they pulled my back to the front, and then they get it was a double one, so they also took the bib that was hanging to my knees, like my I had this little piece of skin that just hung right to my, and they cut that off and they stitched it. I ended up in bikinis for a few years. After that, I was wearing bikinis. I would never have guessed. I would never have even thought that that would be something that I would be able to do. I would never have thought that I would have been chased after guys. I was very uncomfortable with it because it was something I wasn't used to, right? But I think emotionally, I didn't handle being thin. I think that's the truth. If I was going to say anything, I didn't emotionally because I didn't know what it was like to be thin, right? I think I probably should have had some psychological counseling before I actually had that operation, right? But I was so worried that somebody would talk me out of having it. Like it was an opportunity to do something that was very expensive, number one, that but only certain people got. And I was, at the same time grateful that my family history was made me a prime candidate for the operation. And I'm grateful for the doctor, my family doctor, who, for the most part, whenever I went to see him, would suggest as a treatment, go home, Cindy, and meditate. Everything's going to be okay. This is what he would say to me, right? Oh, that's the problem. Just do some meditating. Everything's good, Cindy. And he'd give me things. He was the nicest guy, Dr. Rahman. He's got to be retired now because he was very, very old, and I know his practice is gone. But yeah, what an amazing doctor. Very kind, very thoughtful, and he believed the mindset. I didn't again recognize it. I do now, but at the time I didn't recognize. He said go meditate. I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with me, but I was never going to go home and meditate or anything like that. But yeah, he was even very, very, very old when I was going to see him, and I never had a family doctor after I lost him. I never had a family doctor after that. I just go to a walk-in clinic. If something's wrong with me, we got walk-in clinics all over the place. I'll just go and sit in a walk-in clinic. I might have to sit for a half an hour, but I'll get in to see a doctor and I'll get prescriptions or whatever I need or get referred to treatment, whatever I need. But again, I'm in great health. And back to the 13 pounds of loose skin that they took off of me. They also took another 4 pounds off of my boobs. Can you imagine? 4 pounds of skin, loose skin, and they had to reshape my boobs and everything. But again, in Manitoba, your emotional well-being is just as important as your physical well-being. And those gifts of the plastic surgery afterwards, the cosmetic surgery afterwards, was for exactly that. It was to promote my mental well-being, right? Like I cried. I wanted my boobs done so bad. I was with my husband. I just met him, right? So I was just all about my relationship and trying to look good for him and everything. And I had these boobs that literally hung to my knees. They were just scary looking. They looked like the lady from the Penthouse magazine, right? The little cartoon lady from the Penthouse magazine. I don't know. I'm saying I read Penthouse magazines, but as kids, we all see these magazines anyway. And my dad had them all over the house. So did my husband. But yeah, and all I wanted was my boobs done. And I sat in that office when my plastic surgeon said, well, we have to do the tummy tuck first, because if we don't do the tummy tuck first, then we're not going to get the breasts in the right place. And all I wanted was the boobs done. And he goes, oh, and we want you to maintain the weight for a year before we do any surgeries. And I was at 6 months or something of losing all this weight. And I couldn't wait. I was so into my relationship and looking good and right, having the time of my life, coming alive. So I went to the receptionist's desk, and on my way out from the doctor's office, after he left me sit in his office while he went to take care of another patient, and I sat in that office and I cried, and every once in a while he'd open up the door. Are you okay? I'm okay. Oh, take your time. And I would cry for more. And after about an hour, I got my stuff together and I jumped off the table and I went to the receptionist's desk and I said, if you happen to have a cancellation, I would love to be considered for a cancellation. She goes, oh, what's your name, dear? And I gave her the name, gave her the doctor that I had just come out to see him as a patient. And the week or 2 weeks later, I got my phone call to go in and have the operation. So I didn't have to wait the year. It was a miracle. So I got to have my operation. And then I just had to heal for a couple of months. And then they were able to do it was the best thing I could have. It was a gift. It was a gift that I have to say changed the way I looked at life. It gave me that opportunity to meet my Prince Charming, right? Get to have that fairy tale wedding that I dreamed of having as a little kid. Because remember, the things you dream of, the things you wish, right? The things you visualize, they're realized, right? These things are realized. So it was I look at it now and I go, that's exactly what happened. Right? That's what I wanted, and that was what was realized. And again, I am grateful for that, right? But like I said, if I hadn't coped with my problems, right? It's a miracle. I did lose all that weight, but I coped with my problems with the food. But if I hadn't coped that way with food, how else would I have coped, right? Especially with having the friends that I had when I came to Manitoba. I had a lot of friends that were partiers, right? They were the in crowd. They were always doing fun adventures, and I wanted in, right? I wanted in, and and when I made friends with Brian and when we became good friends, we just became like a community, and his friends and my friends and my friends, we just became a group of about, oh my goodness, about 30 of us. There was probably a group about 10 of us that were tight, that saw each other practically every day. But there were probably about 30 of us that met at the bar 3 times a week or went off camping or did adventures. I hung out at my place while I cooked and they watched movies. But they were partiers, right? They were irresponsible, and I would have to say me too, right? Even though I was the kind of the goody shoes of the group, because I was the 300-pounders. I was the one that was there. I was the best friend, right? I was the best friend, but I was welcomed. I was part of that crew. I was a club promoter, so all these events, all these camping trips and parties, like I was the party planner. I was the one that was doing these big events. Everybody loved me. It was an amazing, amazing time, right? But I changed, right? And I kind of got scared because I could see that I was getting a lot of attention and I didn't know how to say no. I guess I felt like I was 300 pounds and I was always just trying to please people. So I just kept going, yes, yes, yes. I said, I can't do this anymore. I says, I need to find somebody wonderful. And in stepped my husband, right? And then we got married and and that was that for 8 years. And like I said, it was an amazing 8 years. It really was an amazing 8 years. And again, like I said, it's serendipity when I look back then and just realize that all those things I ever dreamed of, everything I ever dreamed of, I got, right? Yeah. or I'm going to get. Oh, I was going to show you guys my plates. I bought some tiles at work. They were 75 cents. They're made in an art gallery in West Germany. Villeroy and Boch is where what it's called, but Look at that. They're the seasons. I guess I should have done it because that to me looks like spring because of the flowers blooming in the trees. So that's spring. She's in her bare feet. It's a tile, you guys. See? It's a tile. This is summer. Isn't that beautiful? They were 75 cents each. I had to save them. I didn't have to save them because they're so beautiful. Somebody else would have wanted to save them. But they came home with me, right? I love seasons. I love all the seasons. And they're trees. Like, notice the trees, right? Right? And that's my thing, is the singular tree. I just love it. Here's the one for winter. Isn't that beautiful? Right? Again, it's a tile. It's just gorgeous. Oh, and then fall. Look at fall, right? Reaping in all the apples. Look at that. More serendipity. Apples, right? Talking about the extreme weathers, how the weather is playing into the conversation, right? This could all mean something. It could, right? It's not obvious, and I usually wait for the obvious ones, or they get better, right? They have to get better at trying to figure out how do they get the message to me, right? But usually I'm pretty good at catching it. How have you been doing, Dave? I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're not too busy. I know you're a hard worker. Yeah, but that's neat. That Mary Kay. I didn't know. Congratulations. Congratulations. I don't know if you're engaged. You said future husband. I don't know if you're engaged, but I'm going to assume that you're engaged. But amazing. But good question. I don't think I've ever answered that question before. I really talked about it that much, about my operation and stomach stapling. But it was a major event in my life, right? It brought me alive. I came alive, right? Even though it was scary, I did the best I could, right? Still coped with food. I eventually gained 70 of those pounds back, I would have to say. Maybe 50 of those pounds back at the least. But I've been maintaining pretty good now for over 2 years now. So I would have to say, I'm okay. But I'm okay no matter what, because like I said, it could have been something worse, right? And all that's saying to me is that I do need another hobby, right? So, but right now I have to buckle down. We're working on a car. I'm hoping to put $200 away this month for the car, right? So we're going to try really hard. I have to hold myself accountable, and I have to juggle the bills. But I have to commit that I can at very least put $200 for the next December, January, February, March, April, May, for the next 6 months. 2 times that's $1,200. With a paycheck, there's $2,000. With the income tax return is $4,000. We're halfway there. We'll figure it out. We're just moving towards that, right? We're going to get to the point where Cindy's going to buckle down and get really starving and just going to, right? We'll concentrate. We won't spend any money on carbs and sugars. Oh, which I must say, I'm doing really, really good with my new rule. Remember when I said that I forbid myself going into the bakery at the grocery store, and I haven't gone into the bakery. I walked down the aisle once, but I didn't stop. I didn't make any, like, let's look around this, nothing. I just walked right by it. And I'm really proud of myself that I've decided just to cut the bakery out now. It's not to say that I won't fail, but I'm not giving myself permission to fail either, right? So so far, so good. It's been a few weeks now, so excellent. But it's awesome. Dave is here. Ah, that's beautiful. I love that saying. Andrew, if you didn't catch what Andrew said in that quote, right? Emily Post, quote by Emily Post. Etiquette is a sensitive consideration for the feelings of others. If you have that, it doesn't matter what fork you use. That's beautiful. That's really pretty. Yeah, I believe in etiquette. I really do because people are smart, right? People are smart. Like I said, out of 100 people, 80 people are going to be absolutely fine with you. Out of that 100 people, 80 people are going to be absolutely fine. But 20 people are just not going to like you. 20 people out of that 100 people are just not going to like you, right? But of that 20 people, 16 of those people have etiquette enough to keep it to themselves, right? Not to make the snooty comments, not to roll their eyes, right? Not to be inconsiderate, right? Because they mind their manners, right? They practice mindfulness or mindset, and they also, right? Again, practice etiquette. It's like, how hard is it just to put yourself in somebody's shoes for just one moment? Oh my goodness. I remember the kindnesses. Like, I've had so many kindnesses from you guys, and I remember every single one, and I'll always remember them, right? But those mean things people do or people say, right? They really get at you in the moment, and they'll really tear at you and then finally you get all ticked off because that's all you can think about. Then you just throw it away, right? Then you throw it away. Right? It's important to remember the good things that people do for you, right? And I've had lots of kindnesses. Kindnesses is huge, not just good etiquette. But if you think about it, etiquette is kindness, isn't it? But then you only have to deal with those 4 people that just can't keep their mouth shut, that just can't give you the attitude, that just can't roll their eyes around in their head and let you know how disapproving or uninterested they are in you or what you have to say, right? But don't let that get you down. You got to just figure out a way to be seen and be heard, right? You have to not worry about those few people that even today, somebody walked, I was cleaning the office and somebody walked into the office and I said, "Oh, sir, you can't come in here." Right? My boss has got cameras everywhere. "You go, sir, you can't come in here." And I go like this, right? And he goes, "I want to know about this." And I said, "Well, sir, can we talk out here?" He goes, "Don't tell me where." And I says, yeah, my boss is up at the front counter if you'd like to go and talk to him. And I slowly shut the door, right? Right? I just pushed in his shoes until he was just kind of pretty much pushed out the door, right? And he threw a fit. I could hear him walking around. And of course, he complained about me up at the front counter, right? And my boss's cameras, I wasn't worried about it, but it still hurt my feeling because I don't want anybody to be angry or upset with me. But I have to also understand that maybe he was in a bad mood already. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe somebody passed in his life. And I have to think of these things, right? And then I just have to let it go because if I don't let it go, I'm going to feel terrible. I'm going to feel absolutely terrible because lots of times, right? We can beat ourselves up for so many things in our lives. But if you can't do anything about it, if what is said, you can't take it back. There's no way to make it up. You just can't beat yourself up about it, right? Guilt and shame is not going to do anybody good, and it's actually going to cause you quite a bit of harm, right? Because it wears on your psyche, it wears on your self-worth, right? And then what happens? Right back to the beginning of my life, you end up by yourself. You just figure life is better if you just kind of hang out by yourself. Wow, we just did a full circle. Did you see that? We did a full circle about our Christmas party, right? Every Christmas Eve, we do 7 p.m. Central, and I'm going to make sure that I put up a Christmas post, right? Maybe I'll take a picture of me with a Santa hat on or something like that. And I'll post it to my YouTube as a reminder for everybody. If you want to show up and hang out with me on Christmas Eve, I would be honored. I may be wearing pajamas that night. In fact, I'm pretty certain I'm going to. I'm going to wear one of my onesies. I discovered I like onesies. I do. I really like onesies. And I'm going to wear my onesie at our Christmas party on the 24th. What day is Christmas Eve this year? Does anybody know offhand what day it is? So it's a Friday. So it's a Friday. It's a Friday night. So we do Friday night and Sunday night. Oh, you guys are going to see me 3 times in a span of a week. And we might do a live on New Year's Eve too. So that will be another 3 lives the following week if you want to do one for New Year's Eve. But we did one last year, right? And it was fun, right? It was fun. But Christmas Eve for sure. So Christmas Eve is on December 24th on Friday. So that will be lots of fun. Actually, I work that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be working. Yeah, I know. I always work Friday. So I'll be working that day for clothes. Is that my Christmas party? It might be my Christmas party. Okay. I'll let you guys know next week what it is. We're not having a Christmas party, but my boss is going to buy us Chinese food, right? So we're going to have Chinese food, and I don't say no to Chinese food because Chinese food, American Chinese food, is my absolute favorite. Breaded veal, butterfly breaded shrimp, chicken gai ku, lemon chicken, egg rolls, spring rolls, Chinese noodles, chow mein. I'm not a big fan of chow mein. And that's the vegetables, right? And then you pour brown rice and chicken fried rice. Oh, yeah, chicken fried rice and white rice. And then you cover it with sweet and sour sauce. Yum, yum. I don't get to choose the menu, but that would be my menu if I was going to order Chinese for sure. Okay, you guys, I am absolutely begged. But that was a fun live tonight. It really was a fun live. But before you guys go, let me know, what's your favorite Chinese dish? One Chinese dish. For me, I'm going to have to say breaded veal. I love breaded veal. You guys let me know what your favorite, or even if you don't like Chinese food, let me know. Oh, Nancy, yes, for sure, 100%. Oh, 100%, Andrew, for sure. Forgiveness is a gift that you have to give yourself, right? You have to actually not just give yourself, but you have to forgive yourself, right? You forgive yourself, you forgive others their trespasses. And we should forgive ourselves anyway, because sometimes, right, we don't even think of things as unkindnesses, but we hurt people's feelings quite often without even realizing it. But because they practice etiquette, right, they're mindful, so they don't say anything. Like lots of times people would say things that weren't really nice, and I would just choke on it. I mean, that's how I was brought up. Turn the other cheek, Cindy, right? 2 wrongs don't make a right. Yeah. I believe in 2 wrongs don't make a right, but I don't believe turn the other cheek. I don't believe that anybody should get away with anything, because all that's doing, when you turn the other cheek, you're giving that person who's done you wrong permission to go do wrong to somebody else. And that's how I feel about it. No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. 100%. But let's come down here. And pajama party, 100% Mary Kay. Pajama party for Christmas Eve. Oh, garlic dry ribs. Oh, yeah. Just chew on those bones, right? Do you eat the bones too, or you just like, yeah, they're good. Garlic dry ribs, yum. Thai drop boy. Is that the garlic dry ribs, Dave, that you're saying? Thai drop dot boy, or is that a different dish? Angry Birds. Oh, sweetie, thank you so much. Oh, I knew you were here, dear. I knew you were here. I'm so happy to have you. I hope you come and visit us on Christmas Eve. 100%. Sweet and sour chicken and fried rice. I love sweet and sour chicken. Yum. Sweet and sour chicken is a second. 100%. No question, sweet and sour chicken. Yeah. Roast beef gravy, brown rice. That's awesome, Andrew. That's absolutely awesome. Adapt to conquer, right? And you like what you like, right? Yeah, you like what you like, 100%. I hope everybody has a great week. 100. Egg drop soup. I've never tried that, and I've never. Oh, I do. I think some Filipino ladies at one of my jobs made me lobster rolls. Yes, I think I remember. It's a favorite Filipino dish too, and oh yes, I remember that, Mary Kay. Lobster rolls. So what's the dish then, Dave? If it's a different dish? What is it? What's the main ingredient of it? You're 100% Owen. 100%. This live each week would be nothing without my wonderful moderators. I love all you guys. 100%. And I got my cards ready. Mary Kay, I don't have your address. I don't know if you have a DM. Did I write it down? How do you get your address to me so I can send you a Christmas card? If there's any way or if your husband has an Instagram, maybe he can send me your address through Instagram and then I can get a Christmas card out to you. Oh, that sounds amazing, Dave. Chicken, pork, shrimp mixed with vegetables. That sounds absolutely amazing. Oh, isn't that sweet, Mary Kay? Oh, yeah, 100%. I love my caregivers. Yeah, the thing is, my caregivers, that's what they are. They're caregivers. They're providing service. Their lives are built in service. They get a free pass, right? They're just automatically included, right? I love my caregivers, 100%. Yeah, one of my closest friends at work, her name is Shelly. She's just an absolute sweetheart. And me and her, and she's a devout Christian too. And she loves me and I love her. And we've become friends, right? The coronavirus has stopped it from getting any closer, like hanging out and doing things together. But she comes and visits me at work and she bakes me treats and we have conversations and her son works there. Yeah, I love her to death too. Yeah. Okay, everybody. That's it for tonight. Cindy's going to go have something else to eat. Make herself a hot cup of coffee and truly relax for a couple of hours. I'm going to relax for a couple of hours, take in some lessons, right? Take in some lessons, and then I'll really feel like I accomplished today. And not only that I actually did something for myself. And that's how I consider it here with you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. We'll see you next Sunday. And I'll be sure to get that post up on my community tab on YouTube. I'll do that. I'll put that on my list to make sure that I get that done before I go back to work. And yeah, I hope to see lots of you, even if you just pop in for a few minutes, like, before you're doing other things. I know family's important and stuff, but if you want to come in and hang out with us on Christmas Eve, Friday, December 24th, 7 p.m. Central on the dot, I promise. Okay, everybody, have a great week.